Hey guys, welcome to DECODE NCERT. Today we are going to be talking about respiration from the chapter Life Processes for class 10th. So let's start by understanding the definition of respiration. So, respiration is the movement of oxygen from the outside environment to the cells within the tissues of our body and the transport of carbon dioxide in the opposite direction from our tissues. So, respiration is a very common process that happens in our body, and here in this chapter, we're going to be studying about the various kinds of respirations, the different kinds of respiration processes that happens in our body. So, coming to the different kinds of respirations, the first one is breathing and ventilation, which everyone is very well known of. And so breathing or ventilation is nothing but the breathing in of a mixture of air and releasing carbon dioxide gas from our body. And this happens unconsciously and consciously throughout our life, and it's a very important life process because it is one of the way we are excreting out toxic waste, that is nothing but here the carbon dioxide gas. So next, coming to external respiration, it is nothing but the exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide between the inhaled air and the blood. So this happens in the alveoli in our lungs, where there is an exchange of gases taking place at the cells at the cellular layer of our alveoli. Now, coming to internal respiration, it is nothing but the exchange of gases between the blood and the tissue fluids. So, like after the gases are exchanged through the alveoli, this exchange gases are carried through the blood to our different parts of our bodies, and there this exchange of gases takes place. And even when this blood is returning back from these tissues, it carries the carbon dioxide back to the alveoli. So this exchange of gases between the blood and the tissue fluids is known as an internal respiration. And now the next process is cellular respiration, where the cells here take up the exchange gases, that's nothing but oxygen, and use it for the breaking down of glucose for the production of energy. So if you see, all these four processes occur in a particular order, in the same order as they are written. So first we breathe in the gases, then nothing but we breathe in the air. Then in external respiration, there is an exchange of gases taking place between a first layer, that's nothing but the alveoli. After that, internal respiration happens. That's nothing but this exchanged gases come into our tissues through the blood being carried that is being carried through different veins and arteries to these different organs. And then the various cells in this body in the body, or nothing but the typical tissue, consume or take up this oxygen or carbon dioxide for the breaking down of glucose. And even in addition to the main processes, the respiratory system, that's nothing but our lungs, alveoli, trachea, and all together, then was a respiratory system. They also perform some for certain functions like regulation of blood pH, which occurs in coordination with the kidneys, as well as defense against microbes, and also the control of body temperature due to loss of evaporation during expiration. So now coming to a very important experiment that's given in our NCERT, that's regarding breathing. So here this experiment proves that we always breathe out carbon dioxide air when we exhale or expire air. So now in this experiment, I've taken a beaker or a test tube, and in which I have filled it with lime water. That's nothing but CaO. That's the chemical formula of lime water. And through a rubber tube, I'm attaching a pitchkari or a hollow syringe, and um, I'm attaching a pitchkari here. And in the next setup, I'm taking one another uh, test tube and filling it with the same contents, but instead of the pitchkari, I'm keeping a man's face where he's blowing carbon dioxide gas in it. So in the first case, when I bubble out air through the pitchkari into the lime water in test tube A, there is no reaction happening. That just bubbles that are being, formed in our there's nothing but bubbles that have been formed in the test tube. While coming to the second one, here if whenever the man is breathing out air, the lime water here turns into a milky white color, turning into slakeed lime, nothing but calcium hydroxide, CaOH taken twice. And if this man keeps blowing in more exhaled air into the tube, the solution again turns into crystal clear solution. That's nothing but here CaCO3 is formed after more addition of carbon dioxide with with CaOH taken twice. It forms into CaCO3. That's nothing but calcium carbonate. So this test helps us to come to a conclusion that we always breathe out carbon dioxide, because this changing of the color of this lime water into milky white and again coming back to its clear form is due to only it's only due to the reaction of those compounds with carbon dioxide. So now coming to the different ways of how glucose is broken down in our body, we all know that in various organisms there are various environments in which they thrive. Some of them live in conditions where there is no oxygen present. Some live in conditions where there's a lot of oxygen present. Some live in places where they live in water, and there from there they take in their dissolved oxygen. So in this process happens in our cells. Nothing but the breaking down of glucose in any organism always happens inside its cell, and this is nothing but a systematic view of our cellular respiration. So we all know that the most simplest absorbed form of carbohydrates is glucose, and it is a six carbon compound or six carbon molecule. And this glucose here in the cytoplasm is broken down into a much more simpler compound known as pyruvate, along with releasing little bit amount of energy. It's nothing but two ATPs are released here, not much, but some amount of energy is released here. And pyruvate here is nothing but a three carbon molecule. Now, the fate of this pyruvate to release more energy depends on the kind of environment in which the organism is living. So if I take example of yeast, they mostly live in anaerobic conditions. Anaerobic conditions means there is absence of oxygen. So in the absence of oxygen, this pyruvate is broken down in the yeast, and we all know that yeast is a unicellular organism. So it's all this cellular so all the cellular respiration in this takes place in its main body, or it's nothing but its cytoplasm. And here it is converted, pyruvate is finally converted into ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy. Ethanol is nothing but a two carbon molecule, and it's also one kind of form of alcohol. And this process is used in the fermentation process, basically in the making of wines. We all know that they add a lot of yeast so that there's a lot of ethanol produced, and it gives it that alcoholic nature. Now coming to aerobic conditions, nothing but in the third slide, if you see the third arrow, in the presence of oxygen, nothing but aerobic conditions. Here, this is the normal conditions present in all terrestrial organisms, all terrestrial living beings, all human beings. Here, in the presence of oxygen, in one of our cellular organelles known as mitochondria present in our cells, the pyruvate compound is converted into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. And the energy that is released in aerobic respiration is lot more compared to the energy released in anaerobic respiration. But in some various cases, if you would have noticed that whenever people go sprinting or running, they mostly catch up cramps. So in what is the main reason of forming of these cramps is explained in the second one. So when we are sprinting or running, we take in a lot of oxygen, and but sometimes this oxygen is not enough to all our muscles. That is, not enough energy, so not enough oxygen is provided to the muscle cells to produce energy, and this energy to make up the movements of the various limbs and movements. So in this case, in the lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, that time the muscle cells also undergo a particular kind of cellular respiration, where they produce lactic energy and some amount of energy, nothing but a secondary backup that is present in our body whenever we are going running or sprinting. Because you know um not always is our breathing system is so efficient to provide energy or to provide oxygen to all parts of our body when we are in a very fast tremendous muscular motion. So here cramps are formed when there is a lot of lactic acid accumulated in our muscles, forming cramps are nothing but the contraction and relaxation of the muscles is inhibited or interrupted by the accumulation of this lactic acid. So that's why you see that people who are, go suddenly for sprinting or jumping or running, they mostly catch cramps in various parts of their body. So this is nothing but the breakdown of glucose in various parts. So now we all know that energy here in our body is produced in the form of ATP. ATP is nothing but adenosine triphosphate. So ATP is the energy currency in most of our cellular processes, and the energy released during the process of respiration is used to make ATP molecule from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Nothing but ADP here is adenosine diphosphate plus one inorganic phosphate molecule plus energy gives rise to ATP, and ATP here is an energy currency. And this ATP helps in driving the endothermic process in our cell. Endothermic processes are nothing but the processes that require energy. So here, just how, like here ATP is nothing but a kind of battery that is attached in our body that provides us energy whenever required, just like how a battery provides energy for various uses by producing mechanical energy, light energy, electrical energy. In the same way, this ATP here is used by the cells for contraction of muscles, protein synthesis, conduction of nerve impulses, and many other activities. Now coming to plant respiration. Now in plants, here these are all terrestrial, organisms that thrive on land, and here plant respiration here occurs by the exchange of gases where they take in oxygen at the night and they release carbon dioxide, and the oxygen here is taken in to combine with glucose and release carbon dioxide. And here in the daytime, here in the daytime, we all know that there a process called photosynthesis takes place, where carbon dioxide is taken in by the tree to produce glucose, and oxygen is given out as a byproduct. So here are the two different, ways how plant undergoes exchange of gases, and this exchange of gases takes place by the various openings known as stomata that are present in the leaves, present below the leaves, and they are intercellular spaces that allow in exchange of gases. And through this tremendous through the small holes present throughout the leaves of this entire tree, tremendous exchange of gases takes place, and and in this way there's a lot of air or gases coming to the tree. A lot of energy is being produced by the tree. Now coming to the organisms that stay in water, nothing but fishes. Here in fishes, they can take in dissolved oxygen because they are not exposed to the atmosphere through which they can, directly breathe in the free oxygen that's present in the air. So in the fishes, they have a special structure called as gills that helps in the exchange of gases. So in these fishes, they take in water through their mouth. They take in water through their mouth and force it through the gills, which is covered by an opening called as operculum. And in the gills, here gills are nothing but small kind of slits or nothing but gill filaments that are present in the gills and which are richly supplied with blood vessels. So whenever this water that has dissolved oxygen present in it is forcefully pushed through the gills, here the exchange of gases takes place, and the um, exchange of gases takes place, and the oxygen is being taken in by the fish's body for various processes, and the carbon dioxide that's been produced as a result of the various processes happening in the fish's body is released with the air, is released with the water that is pushed out from the operculum. So this is the way how organisms in water obtain their oxygen, and this is how the process of respiration takes place in their body. So that's all for today's video. I hope you have liked the video and learned a lot about respiration. The next video that I'm going to be posting about is on human respiratory system. If you guys want me to do a few more concepts, please let me know on my Instagram page or put it down in the comment box. Please do like, share, and comment on my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So that's all for today. Take care, stay safe. Bye.